Hey guys, it is Saturday here in West Virginia, and as I mentioned yesterday, we're going to take a look at the new M2 S10 and the 96 Impala SS Lowrider that I built, and that is the car right in front of us, this guy right here. It's made with all Revell parts. Nothing is 3D printed, nothing is custom made. It is all Revell parts. Now, how I did it is, as you can see, it's got chassis on it. It looks stock if you just flip it over quickly, look at it and such, and it works the same as any Revell lowrider. There's a suspension drop down. Now it's on the ground. So, and it rolls good, nice and free. What I did is I got in a Revell 70 Monte Carlo. Excuse me, guys, my voice is still a little messed up. And anyways, this 70 Monte Carlo, this comes in one of the full clamshell packages. And as I was telling you yesterday about the caddies that I had issues with paint rash, well, this guy had the same issue, but I don't think it's so much paint rash on this car as I think it was just bad application of the tampo. Because it didn't just do it on the passenger side, it also did it on the driver's side, as you could see. And it's not really rashed anywhere else. And this car came with the adjustable base, and it came with the big diameter 6 spokes on it, not the wire spoke wheels. And since they did that and they wanted to make it sit as low as possible, they redesigned the chassis on this one. Now, here's one of the older releases of it with the small diameter wire spoke wheels. As you could see, let's get it to zoom in. Up inside, you can see it's got a full wheel well housing, a full inner fender, front and rear, like all of the Revell lowriders have. Even like looking at, I got that jump bar on this guy here, and that wheel's coming apart. This is their wriggle. As you can see, also has a full wheel well on it. All their Impalas, everything's the same. And when I got to this car, I noticed it didn't have those wheel wells. I was like, wow, that's kind of a bad design because it may break easily. Then I started thinking it's also a good design to adapt it to another car. So I started thinking about what cars I had laying around that maybe I would like to see an adjustable base hydraulics on. And I came to the conclusion with this Impala SS, and I looked at the wheelbase and such, and it was perfect. As you can see, the base is a little bit narrower for the Impala SS. For the Monte Carlo compared to the Impala SS, but it's almost the same diameter. It would almost get to the point where I could use the screws, but they were just a hair off. There wasn't enough lip on the front and rear to use the screws. So what I had to do is I took the interior bucket out of the Impala, and as you can see, the bottom of it is gone. Pretty much. The base of the interior is gone, and the bottom of the bucket seats, the bottom of the rear seat is gone. I had to grind that for clearance, and then I just took some flat stock pieces of plastic. Basically, I think what I used were door panels from another interior bucket, and I laid them across the bottom of the interior and glued them on. Then I glued this base on, and it worked out perfect. And I used the stock Impala SS axles because they were designed to have that wide track, and I used wheels from this wriggle here actually, and I didn't plan it that way. These wheels were on my S10 that we looked at yesterday with the tri-blades. That little guy right here, that's where I put them, and I put these aftermarket 3D printed spokes on the wriggle because I got another wriggle. As you can see, it's up there in the cabinet. So this one I just kind of fiddle around with and use it as my display model in the diorama. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. So anyways, I just use this Regal for the diorama, and if it gets dusty, no big deal. So I use it as also a test vehicle for different wheels and things like that. So I figured, okay, the S10, I'll get a set of wheels for it later on through Diecast Mafia, and I'll use these stock Revell ones on this because they have that big rear female end on them that kind of adds like a spacer on the axle, but it still needed more. I used to have little metal spacers that were like a 16th of an inch or an eighth of an inch thick, just like these pieces here, but they were made out of metal. And also I had some bigger donut ones, but they were mainly designed for Hot Wheel size diameter axles. The Revell axles are a little bit thicker, so they wouldn't work on it. So what I use is just a piece of plastic from a juice box straw. So I use those to help keep the wheels spaced where there's not much travel. There's a little bit of travel in the front and a little in the rear. Not so much in the rear as there is in the front, but it works for now. And the car will do everything. Eventually, I'm going to try to adapt the motor from the Impala interior bucket back in there. I cut it off and I saved it, and it may be able to go back in there. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to do some grinding on it and get it to slide back down in there because I glued this base on. I don't really want to try to take it off unless it loosens up on its own. We'll see what happens. And then the front end on the car, in my opinion, it sits a little high, but I've noticed some other cars that have like a high stance on the front ends. Well, such as the Regals, they have a high ride height on the front ends. As you can see there, he rides pretty high on the front. Compared to the back, and that's what this car does too. Excuse me once again, guys, sorry. As you can see, the back end compared to the front end rides pretty high. And the car will do three-wheel motion sometimes if I can get the wheel to lock in the right way. You know how Revels are. You have to get one side to lock in, and it's hard, and it also can break the suspension, so I don't recommend it. But I can also do it with these little foam spacers that I have. These are from some Halloween decorations that my son and I had, and you can use them as spacers for the suspension. So this, as I mentioned, it has a lot of travel in it too, like the S10. The S10s are also one with a really high front end on them where you lift the suspension and it sits up really high, but it has a lot of travel in it too, like this guy. Well, when it has that travel, you can slip a piece of foam or something in there and catch it on the travel, so it only sets like that. So then that looks more realistic, and as I said, that's not like a flaw of my custom. It's a flaw with some of Revell's design, how the front end, it just has too much travel before it clicks in with the little tab that they designed to raise the front end. So that's just a tip. If you have something laying around, you could use it in there. And also you can use it for the three-wheel motion thing too. Like this one, I can get the back, like when I get it down, I can get one side up kind of and leave the other side locked in like that. And then put a piece of foam over here in the wheel well, and it will set on three-wheel long enough to get a decent picture. But right now it's even on the three-wheel, but that tire's almost touching. But if you put something in there, then you'll get more of a higher three-wheel like that for pictures. So anyways, some cars from Revell, though, you can do both. You can get the front end to lock in on one side and the rear end to lock in on the opposite side, and you can do a perfect three-wheel with it. So that is it. As I mentioned, it's not perfect by far, but it's cool and it works and it looks cool from the outside look here. But as I said, the interior, the bottom of it's gutted and the engine is gone, but it works and does its thing. Now let's go ahead and move on to the S10. As I said, this Monty is the only one that I know that has that style chassis without the wheel tubs and inner fenders. So if you find one of those, that base could be very universal for a lot of stuff. It may even work on like the Crown Vics from Green Light, because they are about the same size as the Impala SS's. I don't know about the wheelbase, but yeah, you can see the wheelbase is almost perfect. It is perfect, pretty much. So it may do the same with the Crown Vics too. But here's that new S10 from M2 Machines, and it seems to be pretty true to scale. I looked up the dimensions of the real vehicles and sized them up with other cars that I believe to be true to scale, like the square body truck, the 1500s from M2, the OBS from M2, also the Revell early first gen S10s. Now, the first gen S10 was about 10 inches shorter than the second gen, this guy here. So anyways, that's pretty much how they match up too. So it looks like it will fit in pretty good in dioramas. I was kind of worried about that because of the fact that M2 is known to make stuff a little bit too big. Same thing with Green Light. So anyways, though, I've matched up like the square body trucks from M2 compared to Auto World, and they seem to be about the same size. So matching it up to this S10, it seems like it's about right. The width and the length, at least it's tolerable. It probably will fit into dioramas fairly well. So, as you can see, I mean, they've done a very nice job on it. All the details and such look really good. All the body lines, how they have the little flare above the front and rear wheels, and that kind of molded in body line that makes it look like it has side trim, but it doesn't. Very cool looking truck. They also put mirrors on it. These are plastic though, so they probably will break very easily. And this is kind of a factory color. I don't remember it having this much metallic in it, but this shade of like tealish, greenish blue was one of the factory colors. And then the wheels are awesome. I have to say that these wheels look kick-ass on the truck because they remind me of a early 2000s, late 90s Billet Specialties or Boyd Coddington style wheel. So they look very, very good on the truck. Front end details also nice. I don't know what to say about the headlight. They're just painted white, but a lot of manufacturers are doing that. Like Auto World is notoriously known for like lack of headlight details and stuff. And the hood does open. And it has an LS engine in it, which is really cool. But it's a really small LS engine. So it's not like the same LS engine that would be in the square bodies and such. So it's kind of, I don't know, I guess I'd still call it like a V6. But anyways, it may be based on a V6. It looks like an LS engine though, but it's way too small comparing it to like the OBS truck or square body truck that has the LS engine in them. Let me see if any of these squares. Yeah, as you can see, this 3500 has an LS engine in it. And it's like twice the size of the S10 engine. So I don't know if they were trying to do this as an LS or not. But yeah, it's small. And no, you do not have enough room in there to put anything bigger. So basically, this would have been a model that would have been better off with the hood casted closed. But as long as it doesn't really mess with the gaps too much in the future, after the mold gets old, I won't complain too much. But yeah, the engine looks a little bit funny. Even for a V6, I think it's a little small because the inner fenders in there are so wide. Interior looks good. A bucket seat or split bench. I think it's bucket seat, center console, like a mini truck. The ride height is awesome. And like, well, we just had that square body dually here. So here's the 3500 single cab compared to the S10. So it is, let me get this camera focused upward a little bit. All right, so as you can see, it's much bigger. Length and width as it should be. So, as I said, the truck probably is the right dimensions, the way it looks to me. I was a little bit scared because I know when they released their Dart, I was totally stoked for it. And the car looks awesome, don't get me wrong, but it's just way too big for 1/64th, their Dart. And their Challenger, same problem. It's a little too big, but in some ways you can get it to fit into a diorama, but the Dart, there's no way. If you're doing a perfect 1/64th diorama, the Dart's just way too big. The Challenger, though, you could get it to work in some areas. Now, this S10, I don't think will be a problem. Even if it is just a hair bit too big, I still think we can get it to fit in fine with other lowriders and things like that. Like, here's a 57 Chevy wagon from Muscle Machines. And, yeah, it's bigger, but not much bigger. But, as I said, these were a lot bigger than the first-gen S10. We got to remember that. So, cool car. I mean, cool truck. And I hope you guys enjoyed my custom Impala there. So, it just gives you guys something to work with. The chassis on this car could be very universal for other lowriders. And you can get those still reasonably every now and then. You'll find them for like 20 bucks or so. So, it's not a bad chassis donor for that price. So, anyways, guys, that's it for our Saturday bonus video. We'll be back again on Monday for our Mopar Monday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and thanks for watching.